Hello and welcome. It is 12 noon. It is the 20th day of October, and I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM. And you might wonder why I open up many of my broadcasts like that. It's from my days of being a radio DJ. Yes, I was a radio DJ. So, radio DJing, when you first come on the air, you have to say the time, the date, and the station call letters, and then you say who you are, and then you get into the programming. That's FCC law. So part of the reason why I start with the date and the time in my name is just sort of a leftover from my radio days, and it's sort of unique and different. Anyways, moving on. So yesterday we talked about the Margaret, Tracy, hair, whatever the thing that's going on with Wizards of the Coast. So let's remind you, the Dragonlance people are suing Wizards of the Coast for breach of contract. There was a contract to have more Dragonlance product come out, and at the last minute, Wizards of the Coast went, nah. And so Margaret and Tracy and the Dragonlance people and their publication company are suing them. They do have their own publication company. They have their own role-playing system, but they haven't done anything with Dragonlance in years because of how it was tied up with rights with Wizards of the Coast, TSR, Hasbro, whatever. And a lot of this has to do with the legacy thing that Wizards of the Coast started this year. And that sort of also goes back to Wizards of the Coast is not a pristine organization, despite the fact that it is the flagship carrier for our beloved Dungeons & Dragons. As a company, Wizards of the Coast and TSR has made a lot of really unusual choices. Some good, a lot bad. You're probably, gamers should not run a major corporation. We're just saying. Okay, so in order to understand the legacy, in order to understand Wizards of the Coast's history of doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, we have to look back at their most recent major lawsuit. We know there's some minor lawsuits about discrimination and blah, 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 blah going on. But the last major thing was the OGL, the Open Gaming License. So, what was the Open Gaming License? The Open Gaming License is a public copyright license by Wizards of the Coast that may be used by tabletop role-playing game developers to grant permission to modify, copy, and redistribute some of the content designed for their games, notably game mechanics. However, they must share alike copies and derivative works. Okay. So what does that mean? That there is open game content. The OGL says that you can make a game using our rules. It has to be a D20 game. It has to have some resemblance to what was D&D at the time. But other than that, it can be whatever you want. So it was originally published in 2000s to license the use of portions of the third edition of Dungeons & Dragons via the system reference document, thus allowing third-party publishers to produce material for Dungeons & Dragons, and then to produce it in other products like, Mutants and Masterminds or whatever. Games that use the D20 system trademark were compatible with D20, but could be other things like space or superheroes or Old West. So this lasted for about 6-8 years. And there was a lot of OGL stuff that came out that evolved into really great games like Mutants and Masterminds. But then when 4th edition came out around 2008, they made a more restrictive thing called the Game Systems License, which was available to third-party product things to make stuff compatible with D&D 4th edition. So here's the thing, is that what happened is they threw this out there. They threw the OGL out there. They said you could make stuff in 2001. So a lot of people made product, some good, most bad, using the OGL, using the D20 system, and then just sort of exploring their worlds. There's some games that the D20 system works perfectly with, and some games that were a total disaster, but it allowed people to publish, and they could be really well put together, well polished product, or it could just be something that was slapdash together and thrown out just because they could. And, for every dollar you made, the Wizards of the Coast got a few little pennies, and it was okay. But then they switched it around 2008, 2009, when they switched it to the 4th edition stuff, and they said you could only make the 4th edition stuff using the 4th edition rules, and all the OGL 3rd edition stuff you couldn't make anymore. But that's not how public domain properties work. So when Wizards of the Coast said no more OGL, no more 3rd edition, it was already out there. And certain individuals went, part of what was known as the open gaming movement, said, no, you've made this available. You can't now not make it available. You made the OGL public domain. We are releasing product under the OGL. You can't now unmake it. So, oh, hold on, the phone's ringing. There we go. Sorry about that. So, a lawsuit happened. The open gaming movement and third-party developers won. Most of them, Ryan Darcy and Games Workshop and other companies that were making OGL product could continue to make OGL product. That's the reason why I have D20 products like Pathfinder and Mutants and Masterminds and stuff like that out there that now Wizards of the Coast isn't getting any money of because they made the D20 system public domain. So, again, right thing, wrong reasons. Which leads us to the Wizards of the Coast Legacy Agreement. So let's find that. WTC Legacy. So, a disclaimer has been added to several legacy titles on the distribution sites. This is an early step. It's not done in the back room according to them. It's in order to evaluate themselves. These early products might contain material that somebody finds offensive. It might contain sexual material. It might contain misogynistic material. It might contain something that somebody might consider racist, like orcs or drow. And this legacy thing basically says, okay, we admit we did this and we're sort of sorry we did this, but that was a different time and we didn't mean to do this. But if you buy this product, if I go out now, the way the legacy agreement is written, if I go out now and buy a copy of Deities and Demigods, or buy a copy of the Fiend Folio, or buy a copy of Oriental Adventures, I'm admitting that I'm racist because the product says it's got racist material in it. So therefore, the way it's written, if you buy it or have it, you are racist. And that kind of leads us up to the most current WOTC debacle, which is the Dragonlance thing. So again, going over it, we discussed it yesterday. Let's discuss it again without getting into the nitty-gritty. Dragonlance, we know, exists, and it's huge, and it has a huge fan base, and it's extremely influential in the fantasy genre of the late 80s, early 90s. There's a series of books, but a lot of people felt that there was a lack of closure. There was a role-playing game, there was books, there was video games, there was a lot of stuff, and through the way of the thingy works, the magic of politics and publishing, TSR / Wizards of the Coast held the license. They approached the Dragonlance people and said, we want to do something with the license. And they're like, yes, we know that there is the book / closure, the series / closure. Our fan base want to see some more stuff. They want to see kind of like, what happened to Kettlebrain, what happened to whatever his name and the other person and that guy. I don't know. I never, other than the Kender, I know nothing about Dragonlance. And it was really popular in my college. When I went to college, everybody wanted to be Dragonlance and play Dragonlance and be a Kender. Tasselhoff Burfoot or something like that. I don't know. And Raceland, I was like, Raceland seems like the man. So things were set into motion. Wizards of the Coast is like, yeah, let's do this. And the Dragonlance, Tracy and Margaret are like, yeah, let's do this. And they did a lot of work. And Wizards of the Coast was like, yeah, handshake. We're going to do this. This is going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. We changed our mind. And we're not telling you why we changed our mind. We're just going to zip and not talk to you anymore like petulant little children. So, being individuals who are aware of how the publishing world works and aware that they had a contract with Wizards of the Coast and they invested a lot of time, energy, and money to getting to this point to have the product ready to go, and then Wizards of the Coast is like, no, fuck you. They're like, well, then we're taking you to court. You violated our contract. So that's what's going on. The Dragonlance people, Margaret and Tracy, the creators of the Cypher system, I think? Whatever, who knows? Or the Codex system. They have their own system. I should probably know what I'm talking about, but fuck that. When do I ever know what I'm talking about? Are taking Wizards of the Coast to the court. And there's a petition going around to fund their legal actions and to get Dragonlance and their world back in their hands so they can have complete control again of the Dragonlance and anything related to Dragonlance, so they could release more Dragonlance books and more Dragonlance RPG stuff through their system. They like blah blah blah. So that's what's going on, and that's just, you know, because Wizards of the Coast has a history of doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, like the legacy thing, which is gonna come back and bite them in the ass sooner or later, because they're accusing all these people who bought previous product or own a copy of the legacy products, basically saying, well, you're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobe, you're anti-Semitic, you're misogynistic, you think orcs are evil, and whatever, because this product might, in some bizarre way, make you think that it's somehow referencing something in the real world, when it's not. Oriental Adventures, nothing racist about it. Nothing even whatever, you know. It was just Wizards of the Coast's attempt, TSR's attempt to capitalize on the ninja phase that was going around, because ninjas were the thing. So really, that was the only reason they make it. So yeah, that's sooner or later, somebody or a group of people are going to go, hey, I don't like the fact that you were saying I'm this. So yeah, they're going to sue them. And that again goes back to the OGL thing. And again, just blah, 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 yakety smackety. What am I trying to say? Wizards of the Coast. You make choices for the right, you make the right choices for the wrong reasons. This whole discrimination thing, the OGL, the Dragonlance thing, the legacy thing, it just shows a history of bad choices. I mean, let's not even begin to address 4th edition. That's a whole separate thing. And there it is again. I should probably answer that. I'm your grumpy guide to all things gaming. Enjoy.